Who are you and what is your role at your company?
Hi, my name is Doron Gower. I'm the Chief Solution Architect from KMS Lighthouse. And my role covers a number of different areas, from meeting with our partners and potential customers around the globe, together with meeting with our actual clients. And during this time in this role, I've had the pleasure of visiting a number of different countries, from the Philippines to Europe to the US, and understanding how different organizations and enterprises are working in terms of their tools and technologies to provide their internal teams with the technologies they need to provide the right information, as well as their customers with easy access to knowledge.
What is your earliest experience of using IT and how does it compare to today?
So technology has obviously evolved throughout all of the time and generations that everyone has been using it from the Industrial Revolution and onwards. From my perspective, I remember being given a computer at a very young age and working with that and understanding how the computer worked, how we could create different types of pictures from a very early age to creating different documents, creating programs and so on. In terms of technology, one of the biggest changes that we've seen is the movement away from technology being in the hands of geeks or so-called technology professionals to being in the hands of everybody. And we literally see that with it. When you're walking in the street, every single person is walking around with their smartphone in their hands. And it's made technology much more user-friendly. And the key differences that we see from that are the focus on the UI and the UX components, making sure that technology is really designed to be used by somebody without any technical skills or experience. The needs for programming or coding, they're eliminated in all the modern areas that we're seeing that consumers are working with technology, and that also goes into the workplace. So probably the biggest things that I've noticed when visiting call centers in particular around the globe is that movement away from the black and green screen applications into modern tools and technologies that are really welcoming and inviting and engaging the crowd to access the tools that they need. And that's really critical.
What has changed in people's expectations from technology compared to the past to today?
I think that one of the major areas that expectations have changed is with respect to user experience. So in the past, from a technology perspective, people were looking at the results. What is this technology meant to provide as an output? Whereas in today's modern generations, the expectation is that the technology should provide a platform that's really intuitive and easy to use. And the biggest area that we can see these types of changes are within organizations such as a call center or another type of organization where they have technologies that are deployed for a large number of people. So traditionally, these types of technologies are black and green screen applications, and there are still multiple types of these components around the globe. However, organizations are swiftly moving and replacing these with modern technologies that are really easy and intuitive to use. So replacing that black and green screen application with a modern web type of application. And that's really critical because this is the type of view that somebody is using at home when they're accessing their social media or using Google and accessing other types of websites. Having a view that's really consistent and intuitive, meaning that there's a really reduced amount of onboarding and training required to start using the technology, both from a work perspective in terms of the employees reducing the amount of resources that they require, but also from an employee perspective, being comfortable and familiar with the technology from day one, rather than having to immerse themselves in training and difficulties of learning different function keys that need to be pressed or different codes and commands, but having something that's really intuitive and easy to use right from the beginning of a career with an organization.
Have you ever traded off an experience for functionality?
This is a really important and interesting discussion. Where does the line draw between user experience and the way that the technology needs to work? So it could be the case that having fewer functionalities makes a system more intuitive and easy to use. However, it doesn't fulfill all of the requirements and needs that the user maybe has and needs to do their job. So in terms of a user experience, one of our really great suggestions is to make sure that the UI and the UX team are really brought together with the users of a solution, making sure that they understand how a technology is being used on a day-to-day basis within an organization, and from there build out the design of this functionality to meet up with those needs. And that could mean reducing the level of complexity of functionality so that it's really intuitive and easy for users to access, find the information they need, for example, perform the functions that they need to do within that technology. So this could mean, for example, reducing the availability to search in different ways, making sure that it's really intuitive, that you just start typing in a search bar rather than having, say, Boolean searches or other types of tools that can be used to narrow down results, making sure that it's really simplified, providing an easy out-of-the-box access to content, for example, without the need to go through different levels and layers to find the information. So reducing the user functionality, but making it in an intuitive way that users can actually find what they need without that advanced functionality. And that's a really critical direction organizations need to follow.
Okay. Try to slow down again the next answer. Okay, do you know what the next question is? Or do you want to think about it? What's your take on the role of government with respect to regulation of technology?
So this is becoming more and more prevalent in terms of news stories and what we're seeing around the globe. How is it that technology and the government need to react and interact with each other? So right now, in many cases, people refer to the technology landscape as the Wild West, that it's very much in its infancy stages, particularly when we're talking about social media, the sharing of information, privacy concerns, data concerns, that there's a lot of different areas where technology is perhaps moving faster ahead than regulation. And this is something that organizations need to consider, both from their standpoint of what information are they holding, what are the ways that they're sharing and creating and maintaining information within their organization, what are the functionalities that are being provided and the tasks that are demanded from their employees, but also from the technology developers and from government about how is it that we should have a unified way of controlling the information and the sharing of information and making sure that there are roles and responsibilities required from individuals. I think the main area that this is going to change in the near future will be primarily on social media, that this is an area that is currently very much underregulated by most people's analysis, and that's allowing people to post freely without concerns about challenges to what they are writing. This is beginning to change with recent law cases in a number of different countries, but still there is somewhat of a difference between the freedoms that the individuals have for sharing and maintaining communications online than what they would do in private or face-to-face with individuals. And this is definitely something that we're seeing will resolve and need to be resolved in the near future by governments, and sharing of collaboration across different countries and continents to make sure that there are key rules and restrictions in place. But at the same time, we need to make sure that organizations and people have that freedoms that are required. More generally speaking, when we're talking about technologies in internal organizations, this is somewhere that we see also is really important, and we're seeing that that's definitely being changed by recent rules in terms of protection of employees' rights for their details, their names, their email addresses, and so on. And that's had a major impact of the way that organizations are working and maintaining and reaching out to clients as well as their internal teams.
Okay. Why do you think integrations between technologies are important?
So, probably for the last 10, 15 years, there's been a lot of technologies that are growing up and have expanded and developed, and they've been running in standalone situations. And this is something that we at KMS Lighthouse are seeing as being requested to have combined solutions. So rather than having one tool that's really great for knowledge management, another tool that's really great for CRM, another tool that's great for billing systems, and having them all run separately, we're seeing a requirement to bring these together. Make sure that from a user experience, you're able to access one tool that has all of the information, all of the tools and the technologies that you're needing, but not making that one independent tool, making sure that that's bringing together other areas and other domains that are really excellent. And the main example that we can see from this is that if we enable one organization to develop all the tools, all the technologies to have the information. Let's start again.
No, just start the same sentence.
No, that will be too difficult for editing. Let's start the question again.
Okay. Why do you think integrations between technologies are important?
So integrations between technologies are becoming increasingly important. For the past 10 to 15 years, there's been a lot of really great technologies that have developed but are running in standalone. So for example, a billing system or a CRM solution or a knowledge management tool, each one of these has developed in its own way. And then when a user needs the billing system, they open the billing system. When they need the CRM, they open the CRM. When they need the knowledge base, they open the knowledge base. And this is okay. but there has been that need and that request to bring these systems together. So from a user experience, which is really critical, making sure that there's one screen, one view that all the users can find and access the tools, the information and the technologies that they need together. And that also is really critical, that we don't lose the key functionalities that we need. So rather than having one tool that's able to do all of these tricks, all of these technologies, all of these different domains, making sure that we can bring these technologies together. So that means integrations, making sure that an organization is able to choose their best, their top number one knowledge base, their top CRM solution, their top billing tool, and have these integrated together so that the organization is not losing out on tools and functionality, but able to provide that enhanced user experience. And most recently, we're seeing that organizations have noticed a lot of trouble and teething problems when deploying chatbots and other types of communication platforms. And the reason for this has been that lack of integration. So a chatbot is developed and deployed, and that's answering a need, but it's not speaking to other tools and technologies. And that means that there's a gap. That means that there's inconsistencies between responses, that an organization is not maintaining the same information across all different platforms and channels. And from a user experience, that's really critical. That when a user is asking a question to one channel, they expect that answer to be the same when they go to a different channel. And without integrations, that's really difficult, if not impossible, to maintain.
Why is knowledge management critical for organizations in 2020?
So knowledge management has been around for a number of years, but we're seeing that it's really exploding right now. It's becoming more and more critical for organizations, and organizations have more of an awareness of this. And I would say that this is for a number of different reasons. If we take knowledge management, what is knowledge management? It's the ability to store and maintain information that can be used and consumed in a really efficient and meaningful way. So rather than, say, receiving a document when you're searching, having a small chunk of information that can be used in an interaction, whether that be having a call center interaction and speaking to a client, or whether that be using that information in a chat, or using that information to reply to a client via email or to respond to a ticket. So it's really critical that organizations are not looking at knowledge management in the same way as document management. Knowledge management is about having small chunks of information that can be used for a specific use case. And that is becoming more and more critical, that organizations are being monitored on the length of their interactions, their ability to answer information quickly, their ability to provide the right answers at the right time and ensure that there's accuracy and consistency between them. So when an organization is not deploying that knowledge base, there are a number of gaps that exist. And in terms of the recent studies from Gartner and other analysts, one of the main areas that customers are comparing their experiences to are not organizations within the same domain or the same industry. So a customer does not think, oh, okay, my bank is providing a really good service, so I don't need to switch bank. They're thinking, my bank is providing a really good service, hang on, my telco does not provide that level of service. Why is there a difference? And it's providing a benchmark for customer service across different types of industries and domains. So it's really critical that organizations are able to provide the information that they need in the right way, quickly and easily. And that's why we're seeing knowledge management is really thriving right now, as organizations have that awareness of what needs to be improved with their ability to provide and share information, both internally for employees and also externally. And together with that, and the final point, is with respect to technology. That there have been great improvements that enable the same knowledge base to be used in a number of domains through integrations into different tools and technologies, through having knowledge available on smartphones to enable a whole new audience like the distributed workforce, rather than handling different printed documents, for example, an insurance broker going around to a client's house with information printed in their folder, in their bag. Here, they're now able to use a live knowledge base, looking at the latest accurate piece of information and using that in every single interaction, whether they be sitting in an office using their computer, being a field technician, for example, answering troubleshooting and guides and using troubleshooting information to resolve a technical issue, or being a sales agent needing the information on their smartphone.
How do you view the partnership with Freshworks?
So we are really excited from KMS Lighthouse to work with Freshworks. We see the suite of technologies as really amazing, and we see this integration as giving a really great advantage to a number of different clients and potential clients in terms of having a really powerful knowledge base, which KMS Lighthouse is providing, together with the tools and technologies that Freshworks offers. So in terms of integration so far, we've built out an integration into Freshdesk, Freshservice and Freshsales, providing 3 different tools with the powerful knowledge base from Lighthouse. So that means that instant answers can be presented. We have a proactive search technology which enables a ticket to be opened, for example, in Freshdesk, and the right answer, the information needed to resolve that ticket to be presented right away to the internal user to use when sharing the information with the clients. This is really game-changing technology that's going to help ensure consistency and accuracy in terms of the responses the clients need to receive, and also from an organizational perspective. There's a lot of research from Gartner in terms of the tangible and the intangible benefits from knowledge management. And some of those intangible ones include using that same information and ensuring that there's a high level and quality of response, both in terms of the actual wording that's being used, but also in terms of the grammar and the format and the style of the wording. By having a knowledge base empowering, say, ticketing, that makes sure that answers are consistent and really high level. And that's something that we feel that we're going to bring together with this partnership, allowing our customers to really benefit from the Freshworks technology, as well as the Freshworks clients to benefit from KMS Lighthouse's solution and use that together.